Hello, everyone out there. We, once again, are the Bloodthirsty Puppets, and, well, I am thirsty, and today I shall be leading you through the wonderful world of salt and thirst. Now, a few rules for chat. Don't be a tool about someone's race, don't be a tool about someone's gender, don't be a tool at all. Just don't.
Or screwdriver.
Yes. Or a spanner, or some kind of steam-powered sex object. Just try not to. It's fine. You can just calm down.
Always be a spanner.
Always be a spanner, yes. Always be yourself unless you can be a spanner. Or Batman. Right, yes. So, today, as you may have noticed, we have the wonderful Skaggoth with us. Because he is alive. And we have found him. For anyone who's forgotten or wasn't here, I shall do a little recap. Right. Tonight we will be playing Salt and Thirst, which is a game about salt gypsies in our nuked world, in our spiced system. The salt gypsies basically, when the nuclear war occurred, they fled to the sea and they lived on oil rigs and container ships and things like that. They just didn't come back to land. This game is set I think it's about 52 years after the apocalypse. And basically the salt gypsies are starting to need things that they can't get at sea. And to that end, the wonderful Lamb and Morgan have been ditched ashore with only I think it's 2 days left to come back with a nice supply of scrap metal and oil, and possibly some fresh water and anything else that might be useful. And they encountered some lovely rotting fellows who they ran away from. They experimented with fire, which didn't go well. And they met some lovely fellows called Caden and Jaden, I believe it was. And a particularly lovely chap called Karon. Who welcomed them into his camp. So, just so we can say hello to everyone in a proper way, who is everyone? And we'll start with you, Karon, just there.
Hello, I'm Karon, and I am playing Lamb, who is a person with some undies, a big hooded coat, and 76 copper pieces. Yeah.
Okay. Now that sounds wonderful. Anything else you may want to add about Lamb, or is that where we're going?
Oh, well, they'll just have to watch the stream and find out.
Ooh. Iguatfo. Right. So, Spanners.
I am Spanners, and I'm playing Morgan, whose accent tends to do a bit of travelling. I am 18, I'm 5'8", and I have a handful of S&Ms, which are interesting sweets, which appear to have killed someone. Could have been the peanuts, could have been the fact that they were over 100 years old. I also have undies.
Always good to know. Yes. So, the wonderful Mr. Skaggoth.
Totally not just reading up on everything. But Aiden is a very short fella. He thinks that Danny DeVito is a tall dude.
Yes. I believe he's exactly 1 inch shorter than Danny DeVito.
Yeah, he's towering. A huge man. And he also has undies, but he has like a heavy jacket, denim shirt, boots, some sort of pants. He's not the brightest of the group, or is he now? No, he isn't. Not the particularly strongest one, but he makes up for it in his somewhat dexterous quickness.
And I believe
So-
he's got a very particular item that he carries.
His boomstick,
Yes, he has a boomstick.
like a old musket / shotgun.
Yeah. Yes, it's
And it is shooting just one shell, but it hurts.
yes, it is. It is a grand boomstick of great power.
He's pretty good with the medics and he likes the part of any sort of tech stuff.
Right. Yeah. So there we are. We have a wonderful new fellow who we may bump into. But for the moment, we're just with Lam and Morgan, who have just been welcomed into the camp to a camp, which, if you recall from last time, is a heavily fortified camp surrounded by very tall barricades, and it seems to be run by this rather large chap called Keron, and his legion of people who have names like Caden, Hayden, Aiden, Jaden, Braden, Daden, and Fagan. Which is not a comment on the current gaming trends of Britain at all. So you've wandered in. They've welcomed you in. They're under the impression that you're traders. You have something good to trade with them. If you recall, that's why they welcomed you in after you poisoned one of their gate guards with a peanut. So yeah, you've walked in. The Westors. You walk into their settlement, and all these people look as rough as the guards. And the guards looked pretty damn rough. They were wearing sort of tatty clothes. They had sort of very, very badly drawn tattoos and war paint and very primitive looking weapons. About half of the guards have guns of some kind, sort of a large boomstick style weapon. As you wander through, you notice there aren't many children here. There are a lot of older people, but not many children. There are quite a few babies. Yes. Apparently, we had some audio issues there. Yes. I don't know if that's any better, but let's give it a go. Apparently, there are quite a few babies, but about 10 or 12, just everything sort of seems to cut out, and then there's some older children, sort of older sort of teens, young adults around. Oh, Christ! Over that. So it just went very odd with my computer. Oh, wow. Let's see if we can get on without that. Right. So as you walk in, Keron offers you all drinks and shows you a place where you can rest for the evening, because it is coming towards the evening now. And the first thing you immediately notice is that everything here is far bigger than you're used to. I mean, you lived your entire lives on ships up to this point, and this is larger than the biggest ship you've ever seen. There's enough room here to sort of put a couple of oil rigs. It's huge in here. Were you smarter, you would realise you'd actually run the entire length of this enclosure on the outside when you were running away from the glowers yesterday. But still, well, last week for players, but today actually for the gamers, for the characters themselves. So you're pretty knackered. You're ready to eat whatever's there. But yeah, you're walking along. There's little fires around, little tents, like little shacky huts. Nothing looks particularly fantastic. Keron waves you to a fire. There's some older men sitting around it, and a couple of older ladies standing nearer the fire, stirring something. So,
okay. So are we still with Keron? There's an awful lot of small folk here, and an awfully big ship.
Shit. What do you mean?
Aye. Well, you know, where you live, the ship.
Okay. Over here, we call it a town. It's just a, so you know.
A town, okay. And the small folk, they're out in the open.
Yeah, we let them run around it, you know. Keeps them out of our hair.
Oh, and you don't keep tabs on how many you're creating, you know, for space and food and whatnot.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Audit purposes?
Audit purpose? What are you talking about? Nah. We just live like we always have. You know, our little town. You know, we raise our crops. We look for stuff. You know, we trade. And, you know, this is what we got. Sit down, we'll give you a meal. You know, we'll talk about making a deal in the morning. But, you know, we're quite interested in buying some of that, whatever you got. Whatever you gave Caden out there. Looks good.
Oh, that sounds very fair to me. Did you say something about some supper?
I did. Talk to Jen over by the fire.
Okay. So I guess we'll walk over to Jen.
Okay. Now we shall cut to the one from Mr. Skag. All right. You're currently sitting at a fire. You've had a long day of pulling things apart for these idiot savages who've taken you in. Basically these people just sort of throw metal objects in front of you and ask what they're for. That's what they fill your day with.
Simple but needful.
Yeah, no, you form a key notch in their society of they have no idea what the hell anything is, and you supply your expertise of.
Not much, I need to say. Yeah. I'm going to be open about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Now I'm
a much better medic than a techer, but that's nothing I'm going to tell out loud. I hate blood. It's sticky.
Well, there we are. Yeah, you open your character sheet actually. Check what you're good at. But you're sitting around. You know, your habitual fire. You know, the one that Karen and his wife tend to man. Because let's face it, Jen's the only person around here who can actually cook, and Karen's the one who can get hold of the best food. So you're sitting there and you're eating. Well, I'm not sure if you want to really think about what you're eating.
As long as it tastes good.
Yeah.
Aiden is happy.
It tastes good. You know, it's meaty. It's chunky. It's it's a good, it's a good healthful white meat stew of some kind.
Stew is good.
Yeah, And I'll let you decide whether you've sampled long pig before, and But it doesn't taste like that. The two chaps across the fire from you were like, doesn't taste like person at all. It's quite good, that.
And do he actually see the content of the food at all?
Yeah, you're pretty damn sure that this is chicken or something very similar. You know, it's a large game fowly sort of thing. You know, or a large fowl, a large bird. You know, possibly pigeon, maybe chicken. Probably more than one kind of meat. But you know, the men on the other side of the fire, they're from the raiding parties. They live a altogether rougher sort of lifestyle. Yeah.
And do they get the same kind of treatment?
The men from the raiding parties get slightly better treatment. They
bastards. I hate them already.
Yeah. They I'm trying to remember. What's Aiden's intellect score?
19.
19. Okay. Give me a knowledge check.
Knowledge? Jesus Christ. Ooh, how about a 12 all in all?
A 12. Okay. You like the raiding party guys. They're fun to drink with. They have a little more stuff than you, but they're quite free at sharing it. Every so often, the raiding party guys come back with some new friends who stick around the camp, like you. You know, they don't tend to leave, and those guys, they hang around. If they're useful, they stay, like you. And if they're not, eventually after a few weeks, they all just sort of seem to leave altogether at once. And the raiding party guys come back with a whole lot of more stuff.
Stuff is good. Stuff is good.
You know, and obviously they bring the stuff to you. You know, so. But
probably
friends, which is nice.
Probably been stashing off of the things that have been stripped. So maybe he strips 80 or 70 and the rest he keeps.
Yeah, I can see that. One of the main things that these guys tend to bring back when the new friends aren't so useful is like medical supplies and food.
That's good.
Yeah. So I will say that you have 2 doses of stim and a dose of morphia. Just some quick drugs, the little syringes that you just managed to like pocket at some point. And periodically you've nabbed a little bit of food here and there as well. But you know, you may be small, but you're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're sitting there, and Karen comes by, and there's these 2 really weird-looking people. Really weird. I mean, they're dressed in these sort of all-encompassing furs, like all-encompassing oil skins. You know, they somewhere between sort of a wetsuit and a whale. It looks really odd, you know. They simply look like nothing you've ever seen before. I mean, they're clearly people. You can see faces, and one of them doesn't have her gloves on. But this Karen comes over and is like, "This is Morgan, and lamb.
Mm.
Yeah. They're gonna be eating with us.
Oh,
Right, this is Aiden. He's a friend.
I strip things, you know.
Yeah, Aiden. Yeah, you do. Karen goes off to his tent. You know.
Yeah,
He has
Aiden
a
will.
large bowl of stew brought to him.
Yeah, Aiden will stand there, kind of awkwardly, not really saying much, and looking like Danny DeVito. Yes, looking at you two, not saying much. And yes,
So, you come here often?
you could say that. I have taken a place here, so one could say that I live here too. Yeah, I live here.
Quite often then.
More than often.
Mm.
Oh, now, so that bloke there, he said to us that there was something about supper.
Yeah, it's really good.
Do you think you could share some with us?
No, I can't share my food with you.
Well, we were sent to see some lady called Jen.
Yeah, she's really nice.
Could you point us in her direction?
Probably over there. He points backwards.
Okay, where's that then?
You're actually standing in sort of a loose circle around a fire pit, and Jen is standing in the middle, stirring like a large pot.
Yeah.
With a slightly younger woman holding bowls.
So Aiden will look backwards and trying to see where she is. Standing on toe. Yep. Oh, yeah. So she's the one that is fixing the food.
Oh, all right then. Well, we best let you get on.
So do you have anything that you need to be stripped? Like a little bit of, like a small little thing, maybe, you found, maybe?
A small little thing.
Could be big too.
Only you. I don't think we have anything, do we?
Okay.
Lamb? Did you pick anything up?
Just these 76p coppers.
You don't think he'll want them, love?
Oh.
They are really useless.
Oh. Well, they were quite good, to be honest, but...
Well,
okay.
Yes, for you they're right, lush, but for this gentleman here, he's not interested in those.
No. You got me wrong. I meant they're useless.
Oh, why that? Why be that then?
You can't use them, so therefore they're useless.
Could we not melt them down and use them as ammo?
No.
Why?
Well, copper is too soft.
But you're softer.
Yeah, but it will be better to use other metals. So there are better metals. So
that's as maybe, but in a pinch.
Well, you could melt like bones and shoot bones, but you don't see anyone shooting bones, do you?
You've got magic where you can melt bones.
Oh, you don't
Yeah, in this fantasy world that you're talking about, anything might work. So
at this point, someone walks by with a boomstick with a large bone rammed into it. It's just like, this won't work. Who told you this would work. And he pulls like the proper like dog's marrow bone like out, and it's just like, what a prat he was. Throws it to a dog. Goes and like starts gnawing on it. Instead empties some like rusty nails in there and starts puts like a big wad of cloth in there. Like, that's better, and he just wanders off. Okay. Yes.
I'm hungry.
Well, if you're hungry, why aren't you eating? That's.
I walk over to Jen. Hiya, you be Jen.
Hello, my lover. What can I do for you?
We were told.
You wanting some food, will you?
Yeah, Corin sent us this way for some of your tasty treat.
Oh, my fellow did that, did he? Well,
He did.
Well, come over here, Johnny. And the younger woman comes over. Like, don't see why you have to call me that. Come on, Johnny. Come on over here. And she takes the bowls and ladles out this greyish slop from this pot. And it, to be fair, it smells quite nice, considering that you are currently expecting to be tucking into pickled like dry pickled fish. This thing that smells of fresh white meat and and fowl, possibly with a hint of mushroom, and God knows what else, but it smells.
Mushrooms makes everything taste much better.
Exactly. This is the Desolation's equivalent of chicken and mushroom soup. It smells good.
So Jen, you're Karon's lady, is that right?
One of them, yeah.
One of them?
Well, yeah.
Oh. Does he have more than one?
Yeah, he buys them fair and square.
I see. Where does he get the energy?
Well, we won't be talking of that.
You started it.
Did you say he buys them?
Yeah, he buys them fair and square.
Oh, don't they object?
For a while.
How many's he got?
This week. 3.
What does he do with them when he's done?
He sells them. Or he lets them free.
I see. Where do they come from?
Out there. She just points over the wall.
You mean like where we came from?
Oh no, they come from that way. And she very deliberately points east. The bad way, that one.
That way. I see. Don't think I'd like that.
Well, no, but it's the bad way. Don't like them in the bad way.
Why don't we like them?
They come from the bad way.
But why is it bad?
Oh, I see the problem. And she scuttles off and fetches one of the men at the fire. He's an old grizzled looking fella. He's got like a big old like bike chain scar down the side of his head. He's one of those scars that's so big it entirely like parts the hair, like from crown to eyebrow to moustache to beard. There's just a line of scar tissue, about thumb wide. You need to know why the bad way is bad. Yeah,
So, hoping, yeah.
Well, the sun has burned away their souls. Everything closer to the sun at dawn than here is the bad way.
Right, so it stays dark here, does it?
No, essentially, this man is attempting to explain the concept of minimum safe distance to you. But he doesn't understand it himself. Over there comes all the evil in the world. All the bad, in the bad way. Long back, the big fire came from over there.
You mean the bombs?
Bombs?
Aye. The Big Bang. The reason we went on the ships and the funny looking folk, they got a bit melty, didn't they? And
the sun fair burned away their humanity.
I see. And these women, they come from the melty folk, do they?
No, they come from the bad folk.
They come from the bad folk. But surely if they're bad, you don't want them here.
They stay for a while. We save them. And those who can be saved, they stay.
I see.
And those that can't, we give on.
Give on. Right then. That's cleared that up then. I guess we'll go and have some supper.
How do you get your scar?
Well,
I'm just going to look at Lamb at this point.
well, and a big smile like splits his face, which is odd considering now it's split in two directions. It's well, long ago I went on a raid in the bad place, and this young slip of a thing couldn't have been much more than 12 summers. Lashed me in the face with a chain. Don't worry, we got her. She's over there. And he points at Janny, who you notice is wearing a bike chain as a belt.
It's an impressive. Oh, she made an impression on you then.
That she did.
Good on you, man.
Well, she knows how to keep a fella.
Morgan, I think it's time for your supper.
Oh, thank you very much.
Aye.
And he just fishes the bowl out of your hand, starts eating it with his hands.
You don't rightly know what to say to that.
Well, as the evening sort of sails on, you generally just work out that basically the people who are here, they really do not like anything to the east. Everything to the east, all the people to the east are horrible people. All the things to the east are terrible things. They built out the walls to keep them. They built the walls to keep them out. Everything that way is bad. Everyone bad. They talk about there's a group nearby who are just a little bit to the east. They're only a little bit bad. And sometimes they trade with them. But aside from that, you get the impression that they're just really afraid most of the time. You know, they're terribly afraid that the bad things will come and get them.
This gives me an idea.
Yeah. But yeah, you pass the evening. They stand. They offer you drinks. They tell raiding stories in the campfire, like, you know, some of which are horrible, others are hilarious, depending on your point of view, really. But yeah, it's a fairly uneventful evening. you know, and when the time comes, you're shown to a tent, and you notice that Aiden's already there. It appears to be Aiden's tent, and they throw a couple of bedrolls, sort of just outside of this tent, and sort of go, sleep where you will. Go ahead. And yeah, the night passes without much event, really. I mean, there's a few drunken idiots stumbling about, kicking things over, and a dog that won't shut up into the small hours. But what else did you... Is there anything you guys wanted to do while, night is upon the camp?
Is it so that the tent that Aiden have is large enough for more people, or?
Oh yeah. It's like a big round tent. Yeah, it's like kind of like a yurt. It was more just there weren't enough people. You had one to yourself previously.
So they are
party out or something. You don't know.
So they are getting a portion out of it.
Yeah.
So Aiden will take a lot of the boxes and whatever that he has been storing stripped components and stuff in, and realizes that his hoarding is getting out of hand and liking it even more. So he's putting boxes on boxes with a smile.
You're stacking boxes to make some space for your guests, or possibly to keep your stuff safe from your guests. Your precious stuff, your hoard. What about our salties? What are you doing with your first night on land?
Well, I got a bit of an idea. What we could do, obviously we've got not much to trade really at the moment, not physical things anyway, but it appears that not many of them like going east into that area. So perhaps we could go there, collect stuff, bring it back, and see if we can trade for some nice stuff to take back to the ship.
I see. So you're suggesting going out at night in the dark with those things.
Not necessarily at the dark.
Well, when then?
When it's light.
When it's light, but surely they'll expect us to be here when it's light.
Who?
Well, Caron and Jen.
Well,
and the weird bloke.
But we speak to them about it.
I see.
Where they can send us to get stuff. That's why, you see.
Right. So you're going to offer us going out and maybe finding some more those colourful things with the peanuts and bringing it back for them so they don't have to go out.
Yeah. And
I see.
As payment, they could possibly give us, if they've got any oil or scrap metals for us to take to the ship.
I like your thinking. And this bloke here, he's got a fair bit of stuff. Maybe he'd like us to, bring him some more stuff that he can fix, and then he can give us some of his extra bits, some bits and bobs, I guess.
So are you having this discussion quietly near the campfire before going to bed, or are you sitting in Aiden's, are you sitting in Aiden's yurt? talking about this loudly in his presence.
We're not going to be quiet about it because we want their assistance. Really, otherwise it doesn't work. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Aiden, you've obviously got these two talking about components and metallic objects and stuff that they want.
Yeah. So
sitting in your hall of wondrous stuff and components and things that you want.
no, the components are mine, but I heard them talking about more components. So he will probably be looking like he is organizing or shifting stuff, but he's intentionally moving closer, but he's just moving a box a little bit and taking one step closer to them, and coming closer he's kind of picking stuff inside another box, moving a little bit closer, shifting that part a little bit, moving closer. So he's basically like cleaning his home, but getting much, much closer with the dusting.
Do we notice this?
I was actually going to just say, if I could get a sneak off your Skag.
Sneak, do I have sneak? I have a 14.
Yeah, Aiden manages to get maybe within sort of 5 or 6 feet of you before you look up and just notice him. You're not sure how long he's been listening or how long he's been like 6 feet from you, like standing behind a box with a duster. Just like staring at you with a small smile.
So, what do you think, Aiden?
Well, you were talking about shiny objects, and I do like myself shiny objects. So, I mean, I could probably show you ways where we could go.
You talking about some metal there?
Well, you call it metal, I call it interesting artifacts, but one's onion, another potato.
All right, dear. I'm guessing we haven't probably seen potatoes or onions for some time.
No. You may have seen pictures. In fact, of all the beings, of all the people in this world, you're probably more likely to know the words for like potatoes and onions and things in other languages. Being that you grew up among the descendants of oil rig crews and things, who come from all over the place. So the word potato may be alien to you, but the word for potato in say Polish might be really common among the salty tongue. Who knows? But yeah.
Right then, I guess we ought to make some kind of deal. Is there something that you think they'd want?
Food. They trail. Interesting other trades are good. They have raiding parties, so if you can beat those, that's good.
Well, I guess we could go places where they might not want to go to the east.
Yeah, east. I hate the east. I don't know why, but I truly hate the east now.
And is there anything in the east that you might want?
There is a lot of things in the east that I do want.
Well, maybe we could go and get that then.
Yeah, but I need to go with you.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
I mean, otherwise, how could you know what I want?
More the merrier, to be honest.
Are you going to bring that thing, that contraption, the
The
boomstick?
boomstick. Yeah, the boomstick goes wherever I go.
Right then.
Ziemniak.
You salties, you have got some experience of sort of firearms and things, mainly in the form of sort of harpoons and stuff. You sort of have mounted on ships because you live at sea. You've got to hunt whatever's nearby. Sort of spearfishing guns and things like that. You've seen guns. That's fine. This thing is not a gun as you understand it. It's a piece of crap. It's a fantastically functional. It's a fantastically functional piece of crap. But it's kind of it's something that looks like a gun in the sort of way a child's picture of a gun.
It's a gun.
It works fantastically, but it looks weird. News to your eyes, where's the spool for the cable? Where's the gas cylinder? Where's all the things that you associate with a weapon that fires things?
I feel that
like an enormous flare gun. It's weird.
I feel that the narrator right now is kind of weird. A gun.
Yeah. Oh, yes, but the salties have never been to land before.
That's their problem.
Yes.
It's a gun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Man getting punched with his weapon there. Okay. Right. So you have decided that in the morning you will attempt to venture out into the desolation and look for stuff. Yeah?
Ziemniak.
That's the plan. Okay. So yes, you managed to snatch a few hours. After sort of eating and drinking and making merry with the rather odd people in this walled-off town. You managed to snatch a few hours sleep. And the sun comes up and the dogs predictably go nuts again. And somewhere some weird animal makes this long, drawn-out, screaming cry. Aiden, you know this to be a rooster. You two, however, have no idea what could make such a horrible noise. It's unearthly. It wakes you both with a jolt. It's horrible.
Oh my God! Are we under attack?
You're gonna react. Okay. Considering you think you're now, I think you apparently think you're under attack. What are you going to do? Are you just going to sit up and shout, or are you going to run outside? Are you going to gather your kit? Are you going to pick up something heavy?
Just jump up and down and scream.
You're going to jump up and down and scream. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to grab my crowbar, and I'm going to run outside. It sounds like some kind of monster. Where's that coming from? What is this noise?
And you're waking up as usual, I assume.
Yeah, he will look at them and mumble something about Looster, Common, and start snoring again as he's pulling his blanket over his head.
Okay. Morgan, yeah, you run outside, crowbar in hand, possibly sort of 2/3 dressed, wielding crowbar. Where is it? It's a monster! What's going on? And some sort of utterly disinterested child just walks up to you and goes, "What are you doing?" And keeps walking. They're kicking some manner of ball. It's made of sort of crud wrapped up with string. They're just kicking it along. They're carrying like a bucket of water from the pump somewhere. Just walking home with a thing of water. They've obviously been told to sort of get the bath water for the morning, or who knows? Maybe it's the tea water. But yeah, no one else seems to be reacting in any way, shape, or form. There's a few looks at this large burly woman waving a crowbar and shouting. but mainly they just assume that you're a weirdo, and there's a few sort of, oh, God,
Oh, I guess it was nothing then. Right, I suppose I better get dressed and get these lads together.
Okay, yeah. So about an hour or so later, Charon comes back. Again, he opens the flap, peeks his head in. It's just like, Aiden, needed.
Oh. He'll take his blanket and wrap it around himself and wobble away.
The other two, are you two gonna follow this, see what's going on, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hide in your tent. Okay, yeah. Charon puts his arm around the far smaller man, and starts to try to lead you away. And you can see towards the gates there's sort of a group, sort of maybe 10, 15 people. They're all sort of milling around. It's hard to count them sort of efficiently. And they're carrying big bags of stuff. Some of them just sort of have like nets, just with their arms through the net. And a rope around their waist to form a big sort of loose net bag. And they're carrying, bits of junk. One of them appears to have a netted rotter in his bag, with his arms and legs sticking out. A very bored-looking rotter. He's fully dressed. He doesn't appear to be feral or dead. He's just sitting there looking bored. Please put me down. But yeah, they appear to be carrying, scraps of wood and, broken off car door panels and, interesting looking bits of, broken electronics and things. They've clearly gone off on a scav and come back. Carrot. Look what I got. Go for see if there's anything good for our tithe. I want the best bits myself. And he waves his rather flashy, embellished sledgehammer again, which for Scout's benefit, I will explain. It has a shiny silver gear knob skull, like rammed on the pommel. And it has nails hammered through the handle to make it look extra spiky and nasty. But Charon generally just sort of uses it as a walking stick, like a pimp cane.
Yeah.
Because he's just that kind of flashy badass. So yeah, he points.
Visuals.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wobble.
Yeah. He points you towards that, and the bloke at the front of this group just drops his bag on the floor and crap just spills out everywhere. And it's most of it's complete dross. Most of it's empty cans and and panels ripped off vending machines and the little bits that people didn't bother taking the first 7 times they raided things.
So yeah, the Aiden is probably not the wisest, but he knows what is good or bad. So he will go through it and kind of hold an empty can and look at the one who spilled it out and really, and then starts to stride through.
What about it? It's metal. It's good, yeah.
It's rusty crap metal.
Yeah, but like we could put it in the barricades, yeah.
If I say no now, yeah, and he starts to look through the pile and find whatever that is salvageable or of interest. The rest will be in a pile of nope.
Yes. While this we'll streamline through. If I could get you to take your choice of craft, tech use, or knowledge.
Yeah. Tech. It's gonna be tech.
Okay. Also, you other two, if you want to take a tech use or repair, while you're standing looking at this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you're both looking at it for different sort of purposes.
About the same one.
13.
Crit.
9.
Okay, yeah. Aiden looks through this and he quickly finds among like a mass of other broken crap, and smashed open radios and cracked, scratched copies of the PlayStation 1 release of Final Fantasy, God knows what. You find a small device in a sort of a glossy black case, and as you're sort of poking at it, you're currently surrounded by a small pile of stuff, and as you poke at it a bit, it flaps open, and inside it's just a shiny flat slate. And you notice that it's got a little sort of depressible stud on the side, on the edge of the flat slate. It's probably about 5 inches long and 1.5 inches across. And as you press this little stud on the side, the slate flickers. And why not? The slate flickers and a little white symbol appears. It looks a little bit like some kind of fruit. And then it goes black again.
Oh.
But you've heard of these artifacts, and they're highly valued. No one knows exactly what they're for, or exactly what they're really exactly what they were even meant for. But this is a kumquat. It's a kumquat MyPhone, and these are really valuable to the right people. But naturally, you know what this is now, and you flip it back closed. You flip this little case back closed, and you drop it into like a half-empty can of like sardines or something, and you wind it closed a bit, and you go, "Oh, this is rubbish. I'll just get rid of this," and you pocket it.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah, I have to write that down. Kumquat MyPhone.
Have we seen him do this?
No, because you two were both also investigating the file.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wants to tell you later, that's up to him. Lamb, you have noticed while you were, what did you use, by the way? Is it tech or repair?
Didn't really matter because they were both the same. Or would have been the same result.
Well, it depends on what you find.
Okay, tech then.
Okay, it was tech. Okay, yeah. While you were looking, you find something that looks. It looks like something you've seen back at home on the ships. It's sort of a. It's again like a box. This one's sort of orange in colour, and it's about the size of your hand, and on the side it's got a big red square, and on one end, on the top of it, it has a sort of black wire sticking out of it, which seems to be quite stiff. This wire, and on the top tip of the wire, it has a little orange cap, and it's got numbers and buttons on it. And you give it a little shake, and the wire thing seems to wobble around a bit, and you hold it up to your ear, and then you notice it's got 3 little bits that twiddle on the top, 3 little sliding circular things. And congratulations, you found a walkie-talkie.
Ooh.
You have no idea how to use it, but you're very, very sure the people back on the boats will find this very interesting.
Excellent. I'll just put that in my pocket.
Yeah. Yes. Now, Morgan, you were looking through this with what kind of... with an eye to what?
Repair.
You were looking through this with an eye to repair. You look through this huge pile of stuff, and you find a Phillips screwdriver.
Hey!
Yeah. You find a Phillips head screwdriver. The handle is broken, but nevertheless, you have attained the mythical Phillips head screwdriver that the fleet has been needing for decades to undo the back of some of the electronics in order to get to the batteries. And most notably on the radio, like the one that Lamb there is holding. But yes, you have attained yourself a screwdriver. So all of you have attained wonderful, glorious bounty from this hoard, and apparently none of you have decided to let the people who found it originally keep it. So yes, you now have some wonderful tech. Cool.
Can I try and repair the handle of the screwdriver with one of the handles from my 2 flat-headed screwdrivers?
Given a hammer and a fire and a decent amount of time, you could probably break the vestiges of the plastic handle off of the Phillips head, and pull the existing blade out of one of the flatheads and push it in and heat it up so it would melt in there. But it would take a very long time, and it wouldn't really give you much benefit.
Okay.
It would purely be an exercise in vanity. It's got a functional handle. It's just
as long
as
as it's functional.
Yeah,
that's fine. As long as it's functional.
Yeah. So you're right. Yeah, you found all this, and at this point, Karan has spotted you guys looking through the piles all together. And he comes over. So, you're good at this stuff too, yeah?
Yes.
We're not bad. Now we've got a bit of a proposal for you, love. You don't like going off to the east?
The bad way? No, we don't like it in the bad way.
No, but they've got lots of stuff, haven't they?
Yeah.
And well, we're not that worried about the east because we've lived on the water. So we were proposing a bit of a deal for you, love.
Are you telling me that you've been the bad way?
Not yet, but we're offering to go there for you, bring back some stuff, and maybe return for a bit of metals and maybe some oil that we can take back to our ship.
So you're looking for metal and oil?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Ah. I think we might be able to help each other. But you'd need to do something for us. Something a bit bigger than just fetching us back a bit of scrap.
Oh, what sort of thing are you looking for, love?
Well, you see, we've got some neighbours. They're off in the bad way. And You see, long ago, they took some land that was ours. They drove us off this way. They came from the bad way. Drove us down towards the sea. Now, we're quite keen on getting some of that back. So what we want, being that you two and Aiden over there, you don't look like us. So you could get a bit closer to them. Maybe keep them talking, get a bit pally. All the while, me and the lads, and he points at like the 15 guys standing behind you. All the while we could arrange a meeting.
So you just want to talk to them, right?
Yeah, we want to invite them to our place for spirited discussion about what's fucking ours.
I see. Now, just one more thing, love. While you're talking to these young lads, perhaps you might want to consider, letting some of these ladies go about their business.
Which ladies?
Well, the ones who don't want to be here. They don't look right happy here.
But once they've done their time, they're free to leave.
Right, and what makes you think you can make them do their time?
We save them from the bad way.
Right.
We give them somewhere to live. We give them food and shelter.
And did they not have that before, where you found them?
No. Bad way. It's terrible. Terrible in the bad way. Don't want to go there.
Right. And yet you want to go where these bad people are. Is that right?
We want the things they've stolen.
And that's their land, right?
And the things we had to leave behind.
I see. And that land, that's near the bad place, right?
Some of it.
I see. But you want to go closer, and yet you want to save these ladies from bad things where you want to go.
Well, yeah. When we're there, we can save them there.
I see.
Until the people from the bad place go away, or maybe we convince them.
You convince them.
We can't do anything.
So how come, if you were so convincing, how come they made you leave in the first place?
Well, there are more of them.
I see. So there are a lot of them. There's still a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
So with your 15, and I don't mean to be rude, love, but your 15 knuckle draggers, you're going to talk them back round, are you?
Well, we only need sort of 3 or 4 to have a chat with.
I see. And any particular 3 or 4?
No.
Right then.
We're quite happy to have a chat with any 3 or 4. Have some guests to carry our message back to their people.
Right then. But I tell you what, we'll create a distraction. But in order for me to create a distraction, I'm going to need some of these lasses to come with us.
Where do you want them to go?
They're going to come with us, and they're going to be the distraction. Nothing distracts a man like a bit of bosom.
Well, you can ask them, but I don't think many of them want to go.
And do you think they'll want to go if you encourage them?
Encourage them?
Yeah. Well, you could suggest that they come with us, and maybe help. For you.
You can give it a go if you want. He wanders off back to the tents. And, he stands on something tall and, so, get over here, come on! People sort of come out of the tents and stand around him. And you're a little too far away to hear exactly the wording of what's going on. But basically, and it's a fairly universal image, there's a man trying to tell a group of women what to do, and a group of women disagreeing sort of vehemently. A large man who's quite clearly sure of his own authority and power, being, I wouldn't say emasculated as such, but undermined, if you will, by a large number of rather opinionated women. Eventually, and it does take a good long time, 2 or 3 sort of younger women start sort of edging off your way. The older women sort of grab them, pulling them back. What the fuck are you doing? What you do? You can't go out there. It's dangerous. Can't go out there. No. And eventually, one of them turns back, but two of the younger women head across. They're probably in their sort of early 20s. They're a little older than you. Yeah, younger than Aiden, but they head across. Some of the men don't look overly happy about their wives, daughters, whatever. You're not really entirely sure leaving, but clearly Karen isn't in any mood to hear men complaining about this. Yeah, they come on over. We hear you need our help.
That's right, love. Now, we're not going to tell the menfolk, but we've come in from outside, and we're not overly sure you should be here. I wonder if you could, bend a few more ears for me. I've got a little mission for you.
We don't have to go the bad way, do we?
No, love. Quite the opposite. You're going to go your own way.
My own way?
That's right. You don't need people to tell you what to do. Him standing up there telling you what to do. You're going to go the way you want to go.
At this point, the taller of the 2 girls, who you now realise has a sort of a passing likeness to Karen, goes, good, that'll show him, and just starts striding towards the gate. She doesn't need to hear anymore. She strides towards the gate. She walks over to one of the blokes standing in the sort of the raiding party, and just she pulls off his coat, takes his heavy implement. It's not a gun. It's some manner of large heavy implement. It looks somewhere between sort of like a pickaxe and a spade. She just takes it and shoulders it and walks to the exit. She's standing there going, what are you waiting for? The other girl, sort of going, my dad won't like that.
It's okay. You're a big lass now. We're off our ship, and I'm younger than you.
Yeah, but my dad won't like that. I was born here.
Right. I don't think you need to worry too much, love. And I'm going to look over at Lamb and Aiden and go, come on then, lads. Let's go create that distraction.
At this point, this second lass, whose name you haven't asked either of their names. I wonder what that says about us as people.
They have their own identities.
Yeah.
They can tell us when they want.
Fair enough. She looks at Lamb. So, are you going?
Yeah.
Is there a? Would you imagine there's a space on your ship for someone like me?
Well, quite possibly.
Would it be
Can't
okay
see
if I
why
came
not.
with?
Want to see the seas, do you?
Yeah, the sea.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Still haven't asked her name. Classic. So yeah, she goes back into the town, and in a few moments she comes back with a far better fitting coat than the first girl nicked of her husband, and a bag clearly has sort of food and a walking stick. She's like, right, let's be off then. Still not going to ask her name? Okay. Right, so you now have two young Westor women tagging along with you.
Right. So we've got me, we've got Lamb, we've got Aiden. Who else we got then?
You have these two rather lovely young ladies.
I see. Ladies, do you want to tell us who you are? Because, I'm Morgan, and that's Lamb. He's single.
Okay, it's the taller, darker haired one says, name's Cassie.
Okay, nice to meet you, Cassie.
And the shorter, fairer haired one informs you that her name is Anne.
Right then. Aiden, you coming with?
Yeah, who will check the valuables if not this one?
That'd be right, that there.
Fine. Right then. So Carol comes. So everyone's like, so you're taking my youngest?
That's right.
You better look after her.
She'll be fine.
See to it. And is that Anne? Your dad's
That's right.
happy about that. Anne
Right,
stands behind Cassie.
He answers to you, don't he?
He does. That's why she's here.
Right. So, you tell him she's working for you.
I will. Just don't fuck it up.
Well, you get your lads off. Off you go then. We'll go do our job.
And right, when you leave the gate, you're going to need to turn off to the right. And then when you reach the edge of the wall, you have to follow it round to the right again. Basically, he's telling you to head north.
Just follow the wall round, right?
Oh, to head north
Right
from the wall.
All right, yeah.
Right then. How shall we know you're there?
Well, we'll be following along. We know where these bastards keep the fields. We'll be there at sunset.
Okay, and you're gonna go into the fields, right?
Yeah. You single some out for us. We'll be there at sunset.
Right, you are.
Right, and he spits in his hand and offers it to you.
I'm just gonna look at him. No.
Fine then. Turns to Aiden and is like, you better come back. Don't let yourself get hurt. You're worth too much to us.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't you worry, we won't let him get scragged up.
I have my boomstick.
Good. you just and in a display of absolute class and restraint, he pats you on the shoulder rather than the head. Says like, you just make sure you wait till you can see the whites of their eyes, yeah.
Close and dirty. I like it.
And this is why you haven't met many of my other daughters. And at this point, he makes sort of a hand signal, and one of the ugly hairy men you saw the previous day hops in the little truck thing that they've got functioning as a gate and moves it out the way, so you can squeeze past.
Yeah. I look at the hairy, ugly man I know as Donald. I hate Donald.
Yeah, Donald is a dick.
Yeah, let's face it.
Donald Dick. Quack, quack.
So he'll look at him and gives him a small eyes and Donald. And he walks.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you walk on out. The gates. The gate closes behind you, and once again you can see off to your left is the idiot and his handler, Caden and Jaden. I think it's Caden and Jaden, rather than Caden and Hayden. But needless to say, you have Hayden, Caden, Jaden, and Braden all here at the very least, and they've watched you with a bit of interest. Actually, it's been a while since Aiden's been allowed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he walks with pride.
One of them, you're not entirely sure which, shouts down from the right hand guard tower, like, watch yourself, Aiden.
And he will turn around and look. Who said that?
Me. Says a voice from the watchtowers. You're not sure which one.
He will look up and in the general direction. I have a perfect eye sight. And then start to walk again.
Okay, I'm going to look up at this point and go, all right, lads, you want another snack?
Bugger off. I'm not having any more
No.
of that.
Oh, suit yourself.
You're pretty sure that was Caden. He's not risking another near fatal peanut poisoning.
Right.
You were actually consulted yesterday to try and prevent Caden from choking to death on his own tongue from peanut allergy. But yeah, you wander off to the north. And what is the time?
3 minutes past 9.
Past 9. Does anyone need a break at this point? Yeah?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, right then. We shall nip off for a 10-minute break at this point as you wander off to the north.
To the north.
Yes.
Wasn't it east?
No,
We did not turn
you've got to
left.
walk around the enclosure first.
Oh, can't
gate
go
to the enclosure
around.
is west facing. But yeah,
Have to
right.
go
We
around.
shall, hello everyone, we are back. I wonderfully decided to mute us for that one little moment while a biscuit was finished. But now we are ready to return to the wonderful world of Salt and Thirst. So, you were just leaving the Lestor camp. You were heading north to walk around the other side of the enclosure that you haven't been in, on the way to the bad way. So, as you wander along, there are you seem to be wandering along sort of a larger road, and there's the 15-foot barricade on one side on your right, and there is ruined buildings, sort of patchy foliage. It's all been picked clean as clean. The only things that are still there are things that aren't worth carrying off. There's some sort of foliage sort of trying to sort of assert itself, but so close to the sea, it's just going to get blasted by the wind. So yeah, you're heading north. You come to the corner of this enclosure, and you notice that as you turn this corner off to the right, so you can start heading east again. You notice that the foliage definitely is a lot healthier behind, 2 layers of barricade. This bit further inland, and in the shade of this wall, sort of grass and trees and small bushes and things are starting to pop up again. In the distance, you can actually see land that's been cleared. Ostensibly as fields, or maybe someone was just going to build something at some point. Or maybe someone just moved something large through. I'm not entirely sure. But still, it looks interesting. So, what are you guys going to do? Are you just going to stick to the wall? Are you going to range off into the ruins?
I think following the wall is probably best at the moment.
Are we now heading north?
You've now come to the point where you can continue to head north if you want, or you can turn east.
Okay. Right. Well, I suppose we ought to go towards the other people.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, that's looking a bit more flat. Should we head over that way?
I will say that we could walk a little bit north. There could be an advantage point, and we can sneak in, look what is happening, maybe.
The one thing with flat ground is that there's not many places to hide if we need to.
Listen to the tall one. He knows what he's talking about.
Don't suppose we could hide in some of the longer grass.
And there isn't even a long grass that would cover this beautiful body, let alone your height.
You say?
He's right. The grass isn't long enough to conceal someone sort of greater than sort of 3 or 4 feet high.
Are there no bushes?
There are bushes, but they're not necessarily the sort of bushes you want to climb in.
While you're climbing the bush, you will have itches, rashes for days.
I reckon those are a bit spiky over there. Right then.
That's a hell of an intuition you've got there.
It's almost like I've been here before.
At this point, Cassie pipes up. She's like, "You don't want to go over there. Those bushes. There's things that live in them bushes." I heard that from my dad.
What sort of things? You talking people or?
No, all sorts of things. things with teeth and claws and all sorts of horrible.
Some kind of animal.
Yeah, animals. That's the one. That's the word. Yeah.
You see, so you reckon lunch then?
For one or the other, yeah.
Or shouty things?
Yeah. I hear a blood-curdling cry, says Anne.
Right then.
Behind Len.
I reckon we need to move further towards these other people. You know what that noise is?
Yes, I could actually decipher the noise. The noise says, "Go north to the ruins."
Sounds like a plan to me.
Ooh. I'm sorely tempted just to say, roll some manner of manipulate there. You know,
I can
you're attempting
manipulate.
to convince these people who've never heard of land animals that you understand its cry. It's clearly telling you to follow the advice you gave them earlier.
He roll with his amazing charisma. 7.
7. You get the feeling he might be taking the piss, but it's still like there's still some weight to the advice. You know, you get the feeling that maybe if you head north, at the very least you won't be walking at these people directly from their worst enemy's stronghold. You know.
Well, I think Aiden's been here long enough. He's going to know where we ought to be going. So yeah, I follow him.
Wait, he's over there.
Right then.
To the north.
To the north. North it is.
Hey, you head off to the north. After you start sort of getting into ruins. The ruins aren't particularly heavy going. Obviously, there are sort of more. There are some more intact buildings the further inland you get. They seem a bit more sort of ramshackle as you head away from the barricade. Near the road, basically, it looks like people have ripped stones out, to make new things or throw at people, maybe. As you head further away from the seafront, it basically looks like two groups have been doing this at opposite edges of this ruin. So the people from the north have been doing it from the north side, and the people from the south have been doing it from the south. In the middle, however, there are almost intact structures. In these intact structures, Aiden knows this is where you get the choice stuff.
Real good stuff.
Yeah. It's not what you're out here for, but you're always out here for this.
Yeah, it is now. So, what time of day is it?
Sort of mid-morning.
So Aiden will. These short legs can't really carry me much longer. I need a rest. How about those houses over there? They look tempting to just eat lunch, maybe early lunch.
Yeah, so this point, Aiden points a little way off. There's a lovely sort of white building. The paint's flecked a bit. Some staining. One of the windows is sort of smashed. Is cracked, but not smashed, not broken, like fully. It looks like a house on a relatively bad estate of today. In the desolation, it looks amazing. Clearly someone just didn't come here. It's a little like it's standing at the end of a cul-de-sac that clearly just no one bothered to go into. Because why do you want to go in there? So yeah, it's got a garage attached to it. It's got a nice cheerful front door that's been painted some fanciful colour at some point, and most of it's flecked off. It's got a window either side. A little dormer room converted in the roof. The roof's got a hole in, but you can't have everything. But it looks like a lovely little place to nip in and have a bit of shelter. So.
Yeah, Aiden is wobbling over there.
Aiden's wobbling off over there. What the rest of you doing?
Suppose we ought to follow him, really.
The mimic.
The minute that Morgan gives the assent, Anne rushes off after Aiden. Cassie seems to be hanging back. She seems to sort of studying Morgan a little better. Sort of trying to stand the same way. Trying to sort of hold herself the same manner. It looks like at least two of you have a fan club now. But yeah, you make your way towards this house. Yeah, you're standing outside a house.
Mm-hmm. So Aiden will knock once and then open the door right thereafter.
Okay. At this point, Morgan is going to pull Lamb back a bit and say, "This didn't end well for us last time, did it, love? Let's let the funny little rotund man go in first. Then if they find any of those funny glowing things, they can eat him first, can't they?"
Sounds like a plan.
So, ladies, do you want to eat with us out here? And I'm sure his shouty stick will frighten them off.
Yes, Boomstick will make a racking if needed be.
I'm sure it makes a lovely noise, dear.
Yeah, if nothing else, I'll pop one out and you'll hear it later.
Yeah, Cassie's definitely sticking with Morgan. She seems entirely won over by this this strong, independent woman. Anne, on the other hand, seems to think it's a better deal to stick with the boomstick. She's very impressed by this this large weapon. She seems to apparently just have a thing for large things. Whether it be Lamb or the large stick he's holding or the boomstick, she just appears to feel safer in the company of large, heavy things. So hey, she goes off with Aiden, and yeah, Aiden knocks on the door once, and it just sort of creaks open slightly. Clearly, at some point there was a lock. It's just rotted. The whole frame is rotted. The door just swings.
So Aiden will, with the boomstick, push the door open and look around and probably see that M was the name of the girl, or Anne? Anne. See that she is close by. This is the best when you knock and you get invited straight away. And he smiles for himself and wobbles in with the boomstick kind of searching the area.
You stroll on in. Anne looks momentarily confused about the whole concept of being invited, but yeah, she sort of follows you in, sort of she's close enough to put a hand on your shoulder. She's really not straying away. But yeah, you walk in. You see immediately before you see stairs going up to another floor, probably up to the dorm room you saw earlier. To your right, there is a door that goes into a downstairs toilet, it appears. There appears to be an awful lot of wires attached to various objects sitting next to the sink, which, if nothing else, is terribly dangerous. And to the left, you can see into a main living area. There is a mouldy old sofa. You know, there's a large cabinet in there that has it must be easily 5 feet across, and it's standing directly across from the doorway you're looking in, and the sofa's facing it. There appear to be 2 chairs either side facing it as well. It doesn't. For the life of you, you can't figure out why, when there are windows, people would be staring at a cabinet.
There must be someone inside. So he will walk over and he tells Anne, I'll be the best of this one. And he sneaks up.
Anne's going to hide behind the sofa. She wants to see what's going on, but she's not an idiot. She's not going to expose herself to danger.
So he will slowly walk over to the side and hold his boomstick in his shooting, and with the other open up really quickly and say, ha ha!
You throw open the door, and instantly, inside the cabinet, you see a face. You see a face with a short beard and a hat, and it appears to be holding a gun.
I'll roll for. Is there like a
Take a reflex save. Probably
is it reflex to understand that it's myself?
I imagine it would be a reflex to yeah, it's your quick wits sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty good though. Mm-hmm. That's 14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you jump for a moment, but you manage not to pull the trigger as you stare at your own face, reflected in a large, and I mean large, television.
Will Aiden know what a television is?
No, but you do.
That's
yeah. It's a large sort of reflective slate. It seems to be
so.
It's quite flat.
He will jump back and look at Anne, and by gosh, can you see such a beautiful face?
Seeing that Anne is straight on to this thing, so what she sees in it is the sofa and herself, and the barrel of your gun coming in from the side. And she smiles and says, "Oh yes, it's beautiful. It's very pretty."
And he doesn't really understand the whole mirror, how it works.
Yeah. And
so
she brushes her hair behind one of her ears, and grabs her thick braid on the other side and sort of twists it a little bit. Yeah, I look great.
Aiden still thinks that she is under the impression that it's him that she sees. So he's, of course. So we have other rooms too.
At this point, what are Lamb and Morgan doing? These two have vanished inside. You heard, aha!
Well, we haven't heard any growling.
No.
Yet.
And we're still out here with Cassie?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I had a plan. It's just an idea. Those gentlemen we struck a deal with.
Yeah.
They weren't too happy about this whole letting the women go. And Cassie, you seem quite happy about your dad being, should we say, getting one over on him. Was there a reason for that?
Well, Dad doesn't let us out much. Yeah, likes to keep us safe.
To keep you safe. I was just wondering, maybe if these new folk were willing to give us a bit more of what we needed, maybe we could use that as a way of getting you your freedom, a bit more independence. Maybe a bit of place on the ship.
You want me to come on the ship?
Oh, we're all equal on there.
But I'm the boss's daughter here.
That's right. But you don't have to be anyone's daughter. You can be your own woman. You can tell the menfolk what to do if you want.
You think I don't tell my menfolk what to do?
I think you probably do, but do they really listen? If you said, bring me back something, I don't know, a bit shinier, or let me out, do you think they'd let you do that?
I'm here. I've got my man's coat and his bag and his hitter.
Right. And what happens if you wanted to go out on your own?
No one goes out on their own.
What?
It's not safe.
Some of the men seem to. And we were out on our own. There was only 2 of us.
That's not your own. There's 2 of you.
Right, okay. So what about if you and Anne wanted to go out on your own? Just you 2.
We could. I mean, we wouldn't, but we could.
You reckon?
Yeah.
All right then. Maybe I was wrong then.
Me and Anne were born there.
How often have you left?
Where'd we go?
You can go and look at the sea, and there's an interesting place just round the corner where we found those shiny colour things.
What colour?
Your dad was take the weird S&Ms, that's what they're called, out my pocket. These things, they're a bit melted now, but here, try one. Oh, before
and
you
she
do,
grabs about 4 or 5 and just throws them back. They appear to be mainly red, orange, and yellow ones. They all seem to be sort of the smaller ones. And her face just lights up in delight. She seems to be really enjoying these. Nothing untoward seems to be occurring. She's just really happy. You've given her some delicious sweets. That's really nice of you. I've never tasted anything like that. That's really nice of you. Thanks.
you see, they were only up the road. They were in this big building, they had all the chairs and the
Were they in
whatnots.
the bad way?
I do believe they were.
You fed me things from the bad way. She starts to try and take. She's already swallowed them. She tries to take them out of her mouth. They're not there anymore. And she notices the food colouring on her hand and now on her tongue as well. Tries to scrape it off and spit.
You don't taste that bad though, do they, love?
To the bad place. You could kill me.
But you're alive, aren't you? You're alive. And they weren't that bad. You enjoyed them.
There are a great many things you can enjoy that will kill you.
It's true. But what's the point of a long life if you don't enjoy it?
I think you hit the nail on the head with long.
Oh, live fast or young.
Maybe that's your way. I prefer to, reach me 40s and die a good age. Surrounded by my grandchildren.
By your 40s. Oh, okay. But well, that's your way. Right then. Suppose we better go and find Aiden.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Cassie totters off inside, and she doesn't look left. She doesn't look right. She just goes upstairs.
Okay.
She looks quite interested to know what might be upstairs. Oh, look, what's up there? Anne, come look at this.
Is it so that Aiden hear it too?
Oh yeah, everyone can hear it. It's only a small house. You're all. She's only standing in the hallway next to you, so the hallway next to the room you're in.
Yeah, Aiden will say, well, you always clear bottom to top, like you're building a tree house, a fort you build from ground and up.
Well, that's very well and good. Come look at this, Anne. Come look at this. It's amazing.
Well, if you do that, you're probably
Anne
going
comes
to
to the
lose
bottom of the
those.
stairs, sort of looks up. What?
Did she know where the stairs were?
They were immediately inside the front door.
Okay. So it wasn't like she knew where she was going.
No.
Okay.
She's run on into an exciting new place and rushed into the exciting new area that no one's standing in.
Yeah, Aiden will take another door, but be on the lower level. He doesn't really care about them.
Yeah.
He cares about whatever he can find as a loot.
Okay.
Gonna
At
go
this
up.
point, you hear an ominous creaking from upstairs.
Right. I'm going to follow them.
Yeah.
I can't let them get
Okay.
killed.
Ominous creaking upstairs. You hear a laugh, like a really silly, high-pitched laugh. The creaking intensifies.
Gonna follow still.
Mm-hmm.
So you two go up. Meanwhile, Aiden is looting downstairs.
Okay. And while he's looting, I'm going to get my hammer out.
Okay. Yep, you pull out your hammer. Lamb, are you heading up as well?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay, yep. We're going to Lamb, you're heading up. There is a door just off to the right of the top of the stairs. It's quite clear, like the door has been pushed open. It's quite clear that Anne and Cassie have gone that way. As you look in through the door, there's a bed, a very large bed, and Anne and Cassie are jumping on it with just looks of pure joy on their faces. They're having enormous fun. It's just pure silliness. It seems. Apparently, they know about these things. They just haven't had one around for years. They're just jumping. They're having a great time. It doesn't seem to be anything more than that. I must say it's an odd sight seeing a pair of people bouncing up and down on an old mattress, but it doesn't seem to be anything untoward.
I'm just gonna say, just be careful on that for a moment. We don't know how sturdy the floors are.
Come on, join us! They say, bouncing up and down.
I'm gonna
I
lose
might
my
give
step.
that a miss.
I'll lose my senses and just join them, jumping up and down on the bed.
The ominous creak gets a bit louder. But yeah, you're having great fun. These three idiots are now jumping up and down on a bed. In a house that hasn't had any maintenance before in 5 decades. So on the bed. Meanwhile, downstairs, Mum just has to look. What the fuck are you doing? Well, downstairs, Aiden, you've reached the door at the back of the living room. It's not even properly closed. This door. It's got sort of a frosted window in it. Little scraps of paper have been put in with little thumbtacky pins over the. Most of it's rotted away, but the pins are still there. Yeah, bright and shiny as the day they were made, for the most part.
Yeah, it will open up the door with trusted boomstick looking in.
Okay. You push the door open, and inside you see a pretty nice kitchen. I mean, obviously, bits of plaster have fallen out the ceiling over the years. And something appears to be living in the sink, or have lived in the sink, possibly. I mean, the fridge is even closed properly. The cupboards are closed. There isn't even any dirty washing up on the side.
Humbug.
Right, so it's a little damp. It's a little dusty, but it looks like a fairly nice little sort of living space. If it wasn't for the fact you had all the food you could eat back down with the Westors, this wouldn't be too bad.
Can I open and check the cupboards anyway? There might be good stuff in there.
Yeah. You pop open the first cupboard you come to. There's like some thoroughly mouse-eaten bags of flour. There's droppings all over the base of the cupboards. There's bits of wrappers for things that have clearly been infested with vermin and devoured or just chewed. There are a few cans of things. There's, in particular, as you go to the second cupboard, you find there's a large tin of something. You're not entirely sure what. The tin is sort of a yellowish colour, the metal on the top and bottom, and there's sort of a weird green pattern around the middle section. It's sort of blistered a bit from age. There's some weird warping going on. It's obviously been exposed to sort of a lot of heat and then cold for a long time and a bit of damp. But it seems it's got a pretty good seal on it. It seems to be one of those jars that's sealed with the lid being pressed in.
It looks.
Rather than one that's sort of.
Yeah, can you see inside it, or do we have to make a little bit of open action?
It's a solid metal can. It's got the sort of lid you could pop off with sort of
with a ring
knife or a screwdriver.
Oh, not with a ring. You have to kind of open it up with a can opener.
No, this is a resealable can.
So how much does it weigh, roughly? A good hefty amount.
Yeah, it's fairly hefty. It probably weighs weighs about 1 kilo. It's a fairly solid thing.
So you can open it with a lid, or do we have to pop it up?
You could try and pop your thumb under the rim and push it up. It wouldn't be pleasant. A knife or a screwdriver or something of that kind would make it a lot easier.
Maybe I do have something. Maybe I don't really have something for that. So if I hold the lid on, hold the bottom part, and I shake it a little bit to see what there's something inside there.
You shake it furiously,
Yes.
like an absolute madman. You can't hear anything from it. It either what's inside is so solidly packed in that that it's not moving. It could be entirely liquid. It could be just packed with dense powder, for example. You're not really sure.
So
But
when he has,
there's no shift of weight.
yeah,
Or sound.
listening if there is some sound coming out,
No, there's no sound.
it's gonna pocket it and
It's a
go
big
through
can.
the rest. Huh?
It's a big can.
Can we hear him having this weird can tantrum downstairs?
I don't know. Do you while you're desperately trying to work out what the fuck's going on with this can, are you possibly swearing?
Let's say that he's
you? Ah!
let's say that he's going thereafter to try to open the can by putting the lid on the counter side of it and break it down.
Okay. Yeah, you try this, but the lid is actually inside the top rim.
You gotta be kidding me! That's what it's saying.
Yeah, it's properly something you have to put a lever in and pop the top off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one of those that kind of is bent in.
Yeah.
So he's gonna open up drawers to see if he can find
the drawer. You have opened up the eponymous kitchen junk drawer. There is, there's screwdrivers, there's a penknife, there's a full set of watchmaker's screwdrivers. There's adjustable spanner. There's a tape measure that doesn't go all the way in. The auto retract is knackered. The brake is knackered, so it always pulls in a little bit, but not all the way. There's a badly decayed pack of biscuits that was half empty. There's a handful of marbles. There's all sorts of little odds and ends in there.
I'll give the marbles to that lamb character. He likes.
Here you are, shiny rounds.
Busy jumping on a bed at the moment.
So, I'm going to leave these three idiots to jump on the bed and head down the stairs. And as I see him just trying to smash this can open, I'm going to take one of my flat-headed screwdrivers and just hand it to him like this. For fuck's sake, surrounded by fucking numpties.
At this
So
point,
he will. Yeah.
you've just gone take this. As he's discovered an array of tools that he could do this exact same job with. At this point, the bed and the three idiots crashes through the ceiling at the other end of the kitchen.
So, unfazed by it, he will pocket a couple of screwdrivers, holding the one he was offered, and start peeling the lid off. That is much more interesting than anything else.
Okay, with a focus I can only assume is born of long practice, you just literally pop this screwdriver in and go punk like a paint tin. The top just flips off, and inside is this most gorgeous golden sort of syrup. It smells absolutely divine. It's incredibly viscous. The top has slightly crystallized from being left for 50 years in a cupboard. There's sort of a crust on the top of just.
Is it honey?
No, it's It's golden baking syrup. It's
syrup.
Yeah, it's a incredibly dense form of sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar syrup. It's
So-
fantastic. It's the best thing in existence, and it apparently can survive nuclear bombs and 50 years of neglect.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yes, you pop this tin open and it just fills the room with this delicious smell of sugar.
So he will use the screwdriver he was offered and scrape a little bit and
It's amazing. It's sweet, it's sticky, it's frankly rather sickly. In your whole life up to this point, all of your 30-something years, you've never tasted anything like this. And you suddenly are gripped with the fear that if you finish this tin, you never will, ever again.
so he will put the screwdriver and fiddle around in it a little bit and give it back to Morgan. There you go. Tin is mine.
Yes.
And he puts on the lid.
In fact, just in this particular moment, take an exposure addiction roll. Because it would be great fun.
Exposure. Oh. How about a 3?
Congratulations! You are the first person in the history of our streamed games to gain a mechanical addiction, and it is to golden syrup.
Luckily, I have like a
Yeah, you have a
huge.
fuck ton of golden syrup. Now, so now you have to have golden syrup at least once every day, or bad things start happening to you. You go into apparently golden syrup withdrawal. Maybe your body is just slowly adjusting to a greater need for sugar. But yes, you have found the thing that you are the most happy with of everything you've ever found. Right, at this point, yeah, being that you're now standing in a room with considerably more people and a lot more dust, you do reseal the lid very quickly. You don't want to get dust and filth and broken wood and
Yeah.
mattress
With that being said, he will stop and he will wipe the screwdriver clean, so none of the syrup will be transferred back, and give back the screwdriver.
Okay. Right. Lamb, can you take an endurance physical for falling through a floor and the subsequent hitting of the ground and an exploded rusty old mattress with broken springs?
16.
It's okay. Apparently, you landed on Anne. Possibly knees first. Yeah, you apart from a liberal powdering of dust, you're fine. A little embarrassed, but fine. You help Anne up off the bed. She appears to now have a rather large, ugly bruise, sort of on her sort of jaw and neck area where you landed. Asshole. But yeah, apart from being a little dazed and a winner of a bruise, she's fine.
What shape is the mattress in?
Oh, the mattress is absolutely buggered.
It can't be jumped on anymore.
Oh no! 3 people striking this mattress with the combined force of it also hitting the ground at the same time has just blown the sides out on this mattress. It's now just like 2 layers of fabric wrapped around some rusty springs that are none too comfortable. Yeah. Cassie appears to have not weathered too well. She's only got a 3 on her test, so you notice her leg. It seems to be bending slightly, in a slightly unusual fashion. Possibly in a direction it didn't before. Her left foot seems to be entirely too friendly with facing backwards.
So she is probably not feeling that well.
No. Suffice to say, she is still laying on the floor with like gritted teeth. My leg!
So Aiden will go over with his knowledge in medicine, looking at the leg, and there are 2 ways we can do this. We can take it off by the hip, or I can just make it straight again. You can choose.
Do you not think that it would be best for her to keep both legs?
Yeah, you can do that too.
I think that's probably best. So at this point, I'm just going to hand her the end of the rope and say, here, love, bite down on this. We'll soon get you straightened out.
Okay.
So Aiden will, with his medic skills, being a little bit cold, but still, for this one, he will actually use a legendary point on the roll here.
Just do a cucumber. What is your total on medic?
7.
Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough. You're 1 more than I am.
How about the crit 2?
Legendary crit.
Legendary crit.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Okay, yeah. Legendary crit. Okay. It turns out
I do have Stim and Morphia.
You do have stim and morphia if you really want to drug this poor girl up, as well as actually fix her leg. That's fine. Yeah, it seems that Cassie's wound isn't as bad as it seemed to be. Along with being sort of uncommonly flexible, it seems that she just landed badly on the knee. The foot sort of the foot twisted around. She's twisted her knee. She hasn't like broken her leg like you thought she might have initially. It's uncomfortable, but she'll be absolutely fine. You've got it straightened up. You've put a little splint across the join so she doesn't like strain it too bad. You turn and you rip the raised like metal edge off of the worktop, and you just hand it to her. And it just, by dint of your crit, is perfect size for her to use as a crutch.
Yes, your leg will be fine. It's a little bit not where it's supposed to, but yeah, tomorrow you'll walk, but maybe not jump in beds on the second floor where floors have not been used.
Yeah. She gives you a look which is a curious mixture of respect, gratitude, and for my dad's sake, you better fucking hope so. If anything, she appears a little less adventurous now. Scrappy still, but a little less adventurous. She takes her place at the back of the group with Anne. Anne offers her an arm. Helps her sort of make her way. At this point, you notice the hole in the kitchen ceiling. It seems to be making the outer wall sag slightly outwards. The longer you stand there, sort of helping Cassie, like Morgan and Lamb, give me perception checks. You can do perception repair if you want.
Oh,
I'm going to spend a legendary on that. Because
we're tumbling down.
no. 13.
Okay.
9.
Okay. Right. On a 9, Lamb goes, that wall doesn't look right. On a 13, Morgan realises that the end wall of the room is no longer square. It seems to be twisting off true. The floor also seems to be going with it. Almost as if the weight of the house is breaking this room off, breaking the floor off the foundation. The rest, this outer wall is, say, twisting and falling away very slowly. You know, sort of a beautiful sort of a balletic motion, if you will. At this point, it occurs to you, you might want to mention this to someone.
So at this point, I'm going to be just kind of heading towards the door. Here, lads, you might want to leg it. This house is coming down. And at this point, I'm going to grab both Anne and Cassie and just run.
Down in price.
Hey,
And
got
they
legs
can.
for running! Ow!
You're going to have to make up for it, love.
Yeah, Aiden will start running and say that Morgan, leg it. Fun one.
And I'll just walk out casually.
Well, that solves that. Scat, give me a reflex
Okay.
because you stopped to make a quip.
I am running away. So that is 13.
That's fine. Yeah, you using your quick wits and reflexes. You hold on to that quip until after you've left the house. Lamb, for whatever reason, you know, he I don't know. Maybe he saw the marbles in the junk drawer, and yeah, and wondered what was in the other cupboards and drawers. He manages to salvage like a small set of silver cutlery, but as a trade-off, he's still inside the house when it falls down. Everyone, roll a d4.
1.
3.
4.
Lamb takes 12 damage from a house falling on him.
That's not bad. I've still got 3 hit points.
Yeah, you're standing in the front room by the window when the house falls.
Well, I've got a small set of
The
silver
front wall
cups.
falls towards you, and basically the lintel of the front window smacks you in the head as it comes down. But your whole body then gets your whole body basically just then smashes through the front window as it lands on you.
Right.
The amount of gumph and rubble it's then sitting on is enough that your head isn't actually being crushed. You just received a very, very serious smack on the head. And the others can quite easily pull you out if they so wish.
I'm going to be over dramatic and do that thing where you sort of shake a hand, it sort of jittery in the air, and then it just slap it down on the ground.
Okay, so I'm going to go over to Lamb and try and drag him out. But yeah, he's clearly been an idiot, so I'm just going to drag him out by his leg. And as a very clumsy fucker. Right, let's get you started. And I'm going to use my medic and attempt to, I don't know.
Sure,
put something back together.
Bandage on my head.
Check he's not about to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can assess his head wound, whatever.
Oh dear. Sorry, dude.
I like your
10.
character.
10.
A 10. Yeah, you wrap a bit of cloth around his head. It seems to be holding in the best bit of the blood. It wasn't too clean, but it was working. You tie a bit of rope around that to keep it on.
Could Aiden assist?
Aiden could assist. Aiden could either just go like, "Out of my way, woman! Let me." What the hell are you doing? At this point, Anne is just looking at you askance, like, "Really, really, rope and a handkerchief. You've tied his head back together."
That's what we do on the ship.
Those manners are ancient. I have other ideas. How about 17?
17.
Hit your neck. Cut it off.
Yeah, you
Taking it.
You yeah, you go up, you pull off this absolute crapshoot of a crude medical turban, and you literally just pull it off upwards like it was a hat. There's no resistance. It's designed to stop it sliding down.
Hand it back to Morgan.
Yeah. You take a decent look. You actually use clean water and relatively clean bits of fabric that you I don't know where you've secreted these objects, but you seem to have found them from somewhere. Possibly torn from his own clothing. The inner you've opened his coat and you're ripping his shirt off or something. It's cleaner than everything else he's wearing. And yeah, you've managed to you dab the worst of the blood off, and you bind it up properly. You put a little neck support in there. At this point, if there's anything wrong with him, it will take a better man than you to find it. He appears to be on the mend. So yeah, I will allow you to take your ridiculous. You have 5 ranks in medic, don't you? And a talent.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ! I believe that's a D10 plus 4 for healing. So you could, in theory, heal him completely unharmed.
So is it me who rolls, or
Yeah, you roll D10.
a D10?
Mm-hmm.
So a 7.
Good, yeah.
Wow,
I believe.
almost back.
God Christ, yeah. You do that plus your medic of 7. So yeah, you heal him for 14 health. So yeah, you feel okay. You feel that you're going to be okay.
Back up to full health.
Yeah, mechanically you're up to full health. Realistically, you're still buggered and received a massive head trauma.
A bit groggy.
Yeah, you're groggy. You're swathed in bandages. You've got a neck brace on. You're covered in plaster and brick dust and bits of broken wood.
I'll make sure that a significant scar will be there somewhere.
Yes, you have you will have significant scarring across like the forehead. Possibly a corner of like a wooden joist. It's like bump. You've got like a big L. Like sideways on your forehead. I love the fact that Aiden could have healed you completely. No one would have ever known you'd been an idiot. But no, he's decided to like not stitch this wound closed, so you will have a big scar. It'll take longer to heal, but it'll be fine. He's there to keep an eye on it. But yeah. Having heard the promotion, you hear voices and footsteps, and footfalls, people running towards you from the north.
Yeah.
You're running in from the north, and you see some people. They're a lot slimmer than the people you've met so far on land. They're slimmer and taller, and sort of among the men who are running up, beards, facial hair, long hair, braiding, seems less prevalent than you've seen among the Westors. These people seem to be wearing more like patched old clothes rather than hides and things hastily repaired with scraggly materials that they've they found somewhere, or they've killed something and run off with its skin. And there's 2 men and 3 women. They're all running up. They all appear to be wearing modern clothing. To you or I, it's modern clothing with some patches. To the Salties or Aiden, it's weird. It's old-fashioned. It's ancient.
Yeah.
Crazy looking stuff. Aiden's deeply jealous. I can tell. Yucky and disgusting. Jealous. But yeah. And the bloke who seems to be getting there first, like, bloody hell, are you all right?
What he's trying to say is that it will be.
Oh, yeah. I see you getting him all fixed up. Is he? Is everyone there? Oh. And at this point, you've seen Cassie and Anne. Oh, okay. Is everyone there? All right. No one's in trouble. He says, and he pointedly looks at Lamb and Morgan. No one's in trouble.
Trouble?
Oh.
Trouble? We were just looking for some folk this way. We had bit of an issue with building over there, but it's okay. It's just this one's a little bit clumsy. Who are you?
Me? I'm Mark.
Right, okay, Mark. My name's Morgan. This here is Anne and Cassie over there with the stick. And don't mind about Lamb. He's not quite right in the head at the moment. And this little fella over here is Aiden. We were just looking for people over this way. We heard there was some more folk who live this way.
That'll be us. Yeah,
right
we live over here. We are. It's, not just us. There's more of us over there. He points off, and you can see the fields you were meant to be going towards. There's people in the distance, sort of looking over, like, what the fuck's going on over there? So this is I said I'm Mark, and this is Jeff and Bill, and over there that's Hayley and that's Steph. Are you do you need any help? And again he's talking to Morgan. He's sort of pointing at the Westers. Do you need any help?
Oh, right. I see. No, these are our acquaintances, and these young lasses. You know, they've decided to come on a bit of a walk with us. You know, get out of the walls, and oh, you don't suppose like all your friends over there, all your mates, they wear those you know, clothes and like posh
we wear clothes.
Like they're not working clothes. You know, you couldn't go on a ship with those.
A ship?
Aye, that's where Lamb and I are from. We grew up in a ship. This is our first time on land. You know, we're just here to meet some people and see if we can help.
That's just bogus. We are actually after this syrup. I have a huge need to find said syrup. And he points towards the tin. This one is fairly empty, so I need more. By any chance that you might, you know, have any for trade?
Oh yes, we ought to have told you really. It's dear love. He found some in the kitchen, and you know, from the galleon he opened it and he got the taste of this stuff, and it's right sweet. And now,
you came all this way for syrup.
Well, we didn't. He might have.
We are traders. We need syrup.
Well, I suppose we can see what we can do. I mean, you wanna come with? We can.
Wait.
We could chat with the guys. We can see what we got.
So there is a stock.
Well, you know, we get stuff together. We trade about.
So there is a possibility that you might have more than said tin right here.
Yeah, it's a possibility. You know, look, we're not proud of it, but there was a time when we roved about a bit. You know, we wandered around. We took things. You know, we're settled down. We're better people now.
Yeah, I don't judge. I don't judge. I just want to hear you talk a little bit more about said syrup.
Well, you know, we raided the odd market. You know,
Still no talk about the syrup.
There might be some syrup among the stuff
Yes.
that we've taken. You know, we've been known to recover such things. You know, tinned goods, very valuable.
Yep, stared off again.
So you want to come back with us? We can see what we can do. I mean, you know, we've there was a thing we had. It was on these sort of these flat cakes. You make them in a sort of a flat piece of metal. You put this stuff on it. It mapul. So,
I don't listen in no more. You are doing it wrong. Whatever you do, you don't expose it. You eat it as it is.
well, you know, it's cultural differences clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might be able to hook you up.
The difference is how to do it right or wrong.
So, Mark, if you leave Aiden for a little while, because he's had quite a lot of syrup, give him a while, and he'll calm down, and possibly go to sleep.
You could so think.
While you were harvesting your syrup, don't suppose you came across any oil or metal or useful stuff?
Yeah, we come across stuff like that. Yeah, you raid old places. You find vehicles and bits and pieces. Yeah.
See, I don't suppose you'd want to be trading anything, would you?
Well, we're always open for trade.
You see.
Apart from for them fucks. He points at Cassie and Anne. It's like, don't trade with them.
You don't? Is there a reason you don't trade with them?
Yeah, they're bastards.
I see.
Dirty, slaving bastards.
And even even the women folk?
All of them.
I see. What about if, and at this point I'm going to kind of be under the breath, what about if we traded them?
There'd be a fair bit of irony in that, wouldn't there? Yeah. We're having some Western slaves.
That should be, if I calculated correctly, a very fair weight in syrup.
There should be quite a lot of syrup in that. So maybe what we could do is maybe, get Aiden a decent supply and us some metal and a bit of oil to help the ship run a bit smoother. And then, you get some extra helping hands, so to speak.
It sounds good to me, but I'm not the one you have to convince.
Okay, but would it sweeten the deal a little bit?
Oh, you convince me, but I'm not the one you have to convince.
Okay, maybe not mention it to the ladies, especially as this taller one here. She might be related to their the big guy, white coat, funny stick.
Oh, that bastard!
Yeah, that's
like this, doesn't he? That one.
That's right.
That one.
Yeah, that's his daughter.
Oh, what are you? Best not go into that.
You're right over there, love.
He just turns to Jeff, the guy standing next to me. He's just like, that one, get that one. Stand by her. And you notice Jeff is Jeff's probably the scrappiest of the lot. They don't look particularly violent, especially compared to the Westers you've met. But Jeff is his name. Yeah, he has a coat with Jack written on it. It gets a bit confusing at times. It's sort of an army coat. Yeah, he walks over. He's got sort of a mop of curly hair, and he pulls out something that is in that sort of uncanny valley between a knife and a sword. You're not really sure which side of the fence this one falls, but Cassie's not overly concerned about that academic question because it's being held near her in a sort of, why don't we go over here sort of gesture.
Yeah, Aiden will tap his boomstick. Well, if we're not gonna convince you, you can't dabble with the goods either. I see no syrup.
I don't think they're going to harm anyone. It's just
there's blades out. I have a boomstick. Let's put out the blades.
I think that's a
Jeff
idea.
puts his hand up and he opens his jacket and he puts the blade back into the very long sheath inside the jacket. But he doesn't close the jacket. He's like,
Yeah. Mhm. Fair.
At this point, you're not entirely sure if it was Haley or Steph, but she goes in there and stands next to Anne. Haley and Steph are very similar looking people. They're both sort of tall women with dark hair and dark eyes. It's there's not a lot in it. One's slightly taller than the other. Yeah.
Right then. So maybe you want to take us to whoever we need to convince.
All right then. Let's head on in then, and in an odd gesture that you're not entirely sure the meaning of it, Mark goes to take your hand.
Right then.
And you just walk off hand in hand with Mark. I mean, all of them try. All of them do this. And as you keep walking, you notice in the fields, these people walk around holding hands. It's just something they do.
I'd grab Mark's other hand.
That's fine. Bill, on your other side, looks a little dejected. He thought that he was your holding hands buddy, but
I'd grab Bill's hand with my other hand.
yeah. Yes, and Haley goes to. We assume it's Haley. It might be Steph. Who knows? Goes to take your hand.
He's got no hands left.
Which one do I swap? Oh, Aiden.
So Aiden will probably have a sling with the boomstick, and he'll do like a clasping of hands. No hands left.
Haley looks a little upset, but it's fine. She a little dejected. She sort of she schleps back to Steph, and holds hands with her.
So next
And
question
He will walk like a victory holding hand, kind of showing that he's holding his own hands.
Okay, yeah. As you walk through the field, a variety of people give you a very odd looks.
And he will show it in their faces too.
Yeah. This is somewhere along the lines of the story that that this as an insult comes from English archers. It's something like that. It's a very cultural thing. People are just kind of they're somewhere between. You're not entirely sure if they're offended or just very confused.
He's been confused before.
Yeah, they're not sure how to take this. They're used to people saying no or going along with it. They're not used to people making an asshole of themselves saying no. This is just like how they say hello, how they they show that they're interested in you being safe. You doing this is just sort of something they've never seen before. Generally people turn up and they're fine to do this and they trade, or they turn up and try and kill them. This is weird, but they're going with it. They walk you through the fields, and there are a lot of fields. You get the impression that at some point this area was lovely. If this all used to belong to the Westors, at some point they must have had a lot more people. And yeah, you come to eventually you come to a little sort of enclosure. It looks like the fence you get around an electricity substation. And as you go inside, you notice there's a small sort of porter cabin style hut. And as you sort of you get brought inside this fence, you get brought up to the hut. A sort of a middle-aged woman opens the door of this hut, and you get to meet the lady you've got to convince. She is standing. She stands around sort of 5'10". She's not massively tall. She's got very thick glasses and dark hair. She doesn't appear to be looking at you with both eyes. Somehow, you're not sure what she's looking at. There's an impression that she's looking at each of you individually, but she can't possibly be. There's too many of you. And she simply says, "More of them? Where did these come from?" And with that, we shall end.
Oh. Just trying to work out how we all get through the door holding hands.
Yes. So that was the second part of the second of 3 parts of Salt and Thirst. Who are we? What did we think of it? Where can we find you? Let's start with Karone.
Hi, I'm Karone. You can find me on Twitter at Karone_BTP. You can also find information about Betrayed, which is my new short film, at jqs.org.uk. Yeah, that was quite fun. Quite enjoyed playing that. Falling through a floor and not being too badly injured. And still ending the game with full hit points. So
you lucky bastard.
So yeah, that was quite fun, and it'll be interesting to see how this concludes next week.
All right, Spanners.
Oh, I am Spanners. Wow. I'm not quite sure where this is going, but I quite enjoyed being ranty for a change.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is marvellous just going off on an absolute rant. And I did wonder whether that was going to be like the big thing that I was going to go off on another rant, but no, we found golden syrup. And I now have a thing online where I have fallen apart and cried laughing. Thanks, Gag. You are an absolute legend. That was so much fun. And I also want to know what Mark's up to. Because he seems really nice and I like him, and that clearly means he's going to kill me. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I am Spanners_BTP.
Okay, and finally the glorious bearded Viking.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Tried to play really not understanding, low intelligence, and yes, how much he can kind of see like a short distance from himself. Can't really go too far with the variables or arguments himself. So that was interesting. It's always a good time to play with you guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of concludes.
Yes, it is. Yes, fortunately, it's dynamic writing, which means that I go ah and have a week to panic and rewrite it. So it's all good. But yes, yeah. Seeing it's back to me then. I was thirsty. I ran this. It was great. I'm constantly overjoyed about my ability and opportunities to describe everyday objects in alien ways. I have no idea how we got here, but it's almost back to where I thought it might go in the first session. So, hey. Yes. So yes, we were the Bloodthirsty Puppets. Thank you for joining us. You can find me on Twitter at thirsty_BTP. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk. You can find me occasionally on Baylor's Blades when it happens. It hasn't for a little while. And anywhere else. If you really try very hard, I might appear, because I have a habit of popping up in strange places. So anyway, thank you all for playing. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And cheerio.
Indeed. Oh, and join us on Friday for more Western fun.
Yes, more high
on Friday Night's Next.
Yes. Right. Ta-ra.
Papa.
Right, we can talk over this bit. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So, golden
that was
syrup.
brilliant.
I love the
Golden
fact that
syrup.
our first addiction was golden syrup. What the hell?
That's...
Crazy.
Yeah, I rolled like a 1 or something, or a 2.
Oh, Jesus.
But golden syrup is just amazing.
Yes.
Nom, 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 nom.
Yes. And I managed to avoid brand names while clearly describing a branded tin. Woohoo! And
Golden syrup.
Golden syrup.